Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, Ms. Brown.
So the whole purpose today is we're going to begin editing and revising our writing and comparing it to the rubric. We have a couple students that have finished the literary analysis process, and you guys should have worked day by day to create your introductory paragraph. You should have been finding evidence right along. That's what the evidence flags were for, to create body paragraphs. And then realize, you guys, as I have my intro, my conclusion is going to basically match my introduction because we haven't gotten to that part. So today I really want you wrapping it up and finishing. I want to go through a long-term target. I can.
I can.
I can.
I can.
Create.
Create.
Compose.
Compose.
A literary analysis.
Literary analysis.
With a rubric score.
With the rubric score.
Of a 3 or 4.
Of a 3 or 4.
That's your long-term unit goal. Short-term objective for the day. I can.
I can.
Create.
Create.
A conclusion.
A conclusion.
For my literary.
For my literary
Analysis.
analysis.
And also, I can.
I can.
Grade.
Grade.
My paper.
My paper.
Versus a rubric.
Versus a rubric.
So today we're going to kind of read off and look at the rubric. I'm going to ask for some volunteers to read through what is 0, a 2, a 1, what that looks like on paper. In your workbook, you guys should see the rubric, and we've been looking at that right along. So what we're going to do is we're going to read off, and then I'm actually going to have one of your classmates who finished their literary analysis read it, and we're going to grade it together and see what we think. So I want you guys to go ahead. Do I have volunteers to read off the rubric? So go ahead, Antasia, start us up.
And 0.
Yes, please.
0 essays at this level. Exhibit no evidence of organization. Use language that is
Predominantly
incorrect or copied directly from the text. Do not provide a concluding statement or section.
So that means you really attempted to do something, but you did not do it, period. Number 1. Somebody read me what rubric 1. Monetta.
Exhibit little attempt at organization or attempts to organize are
Irrelevant.
irrelevant to the task. Lack of formal style, using language that is imprecise or inappropriate for the text and task. Provide a concluding statement or section that is illogical or unrelated to the topic and information presented.
All right, who would like to read 2? Go ahead, LaDon.
Exhibit little attempts at organization or attempt to organize the relevant to the task. Lack of formal style, using language that is imprecise or inappropriate for the text and task. You should read it.
So let's go ahead, let's try again for 2. Amber, if you could actually read 2 right here because we have it correctly. I think you're on the newspaper rubric, which that'll help us for next week, but right now we want to be on the rubric that's for expository text.
Exhibit some attempt at organization with an inconsistent use of transitions. Establish but fails to maintain a formal style with inconsistent use of language and domain-specific vocabulary. Provide a concluding statement or section that follows generally from the topic and information exhibit.
So that's 0 through 2, and this is like what we're not aiming for. We're aiming for a 3 or a 4. So let's go ahead and let's really pay close attention to 3 and 4. I'm going to read 3 off, and then I would like a volunteer for 4. Exhibit clear organization with the use of appropriate transitions to create a unified whole. Establish and maintain a formal style using precise language and domain-specific vocabulary. Provide a concluding statement or section that follows from the topic of information presented. Introduce the text and claim in a manner that does not logically follow from the task or purpose. Demonstrate little understanding of a text. So if you think about it, you guys, and you stay on these topics, that will at least get you a 3 if you have the specific vocabulary, if it's coherent, and it is at least organized. Serenity, going right ahead with the 4 for content.
Exhibit clear organization with skillful use of appropriate and
Very.
transition to create a unified whole and enhance meaning. Establish a maintain a formal style, using grade-appropriate, stylistically sophisticated language and domain-specific vocabulary with a notable sense of voice. Provide a concluding statement or section that is compelling and follows clearly from the topic and information presented. And introduce the topic in a manner that follows generally from the task and purpose. Demonstrate a literal comprehension of the text.
So if you're able to follow what I've given you for the outline as we went through day by day, that's going to definitely knock out the structure end of it. If you're able to present your idea and put it in a logical manner with domain-specific vocabulary, that's why we went through with the vocabulary, the Frayer models, and we've went through expository text at length with determining vocabulary. If you're able to do those things and write in a sophisticated manner, which some of us definitely do, then you're able to at least get a 3 or a 4. If you don't do those things, then I'm going to have to bump it down. So I'm going to ask at this point for Amber to share out. She's very brave, and we're going to rate what we think that she has received. So keep in mind, look at your rubric, and she's going to read aloud to us. So please focus on our speaker.
Local residents in San Francisco suffer and struggle from the destructive earthquake in San Francisco in 1906. This devastated the character of Dragonwings, Moonshadow, and a real-life witness, Emma Burke, the wife of San Francisco attorney Burt Burke. These two individuals' viewpoints are similar to each other, but also different, in which would be discussed in the essay. Emma Burke, the wife of a lawyer, is devastated by this earthquake. She lost most of her things in this 12-story house. Moonshadow is similar to her because it happened to them at the same time. They both lost something in this tragedy. A quote from Comprehending the Calamity: It constantly grew worse. The noise deafening, the crash of the dishes, falling pictures, the rattle of the flat tin roof, bookcases being overturned, the piano hurled across the power, and groaning and straining of the building itself. Broken glass, fallen plaster made such a roar that no one noise could be distinguished. This may not be like this individual is telling her emotions about this situation, but she points the visual of the earthquake in our she paints the visual of the earthquake in our minds. She might have lost her home. Because soldiers had to blow them up so the fire could not spread. Moonshadow is similar to Emma Burke's because they happen similar at the same time. Moonshadow also lost something in the earthquake. He lost the company. Soldiers blew it up so the fire could not spread. Also, this was a very sad day. Moonshadow's father has no food or water to drink. They are going to be miserable. Moonshadow is different from Emma Burke because he's from another country and this is his very first earthquake. When he got here, he had to work for Miss Whitlaw or in the company to earn money to bring his mother over from America. He has to start all over now because he lost all the money in the earthquake. Moonshadow has a very hard life, and he's only 11 years old. This is how he differs from Emma Burke. Emma Burke is different from Moonshadow because she does not have to work. Her husband is an attorney, earns a large sum of money. She is living the high rich life right now to fur coats of big diamonds. She stays home with her son. Emma Burke was just a regular housewife who witnessed an earthquake. But now with the earthquake, her and her husband might have lost everything and they had to build back up. The conclusion of this essay is that Moonshadow and Emma Burke's point of views were prepared as the trash. This how they might put it. This is how they destroy first, and this is how they sing.
Did she hit key points? Thumbs up if she was able to hit key points and concluding with points of view. I think she really nailed it in describing the characters, and I think she really described them to a T. One is a realistic person, the other one is fictitious. I think you definitely nailed that. So for coherent ideas, I would give you between a 3 or a 4. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
As far as structure though, it varied off a little bit. Did you guys notice a couple of transitions maybe weren't as smooth as they could? Thumbs up if you realize that. Okay. So I'll probably give between a 2 and a 3 in transitions, you guys. But I want you to start really thinking about the content that you had, because content and analysis, she gave us pure ideas, she gave us reasonable ideas, she gave us sound ideas. So when you're writing, you have to be clear and coherent, as it says. And that's an interesting word to use, coherent, because it means that you have tunnel vision, you know exactly what's going on. So when you're writing, you want to go point by point by point. You're doing an analysis, so you want to analyze what is there. She did put some opinion into her paper, but she was able to back it up and able to give us sufficient evidence as to why she was saying those claims. So when you guys write and you finish it off, make sure that your introductory paragraph that starts at the beginning is concluded. The other thing I wanted to note is we don't have to actually say it's the conclusion. You can just go ahead and conclude and wrap it up. In your conclusion, you guys should just mirror introductory words. And I like that you didn't follow the 5-paragraph essay format. I like that you are understanding and you're able to comprehend that paragraphs go far more the distance than just 3 body paragraphs. If we're starting out with writing, that's sufficient, you guys. But if we're not, we can go ahead. Thank you guys for a great lesson, and we're out.